Today, we're diving into an exciting story about some super smart robots, and don't worry, I'll explain everything step by step. So, let's talk about what happened on Monday. A company from China called DeepSeek released a new robot brain called the R1 model family. These aren't ordinary robot brains, they're like computers that can think and solve really hard problems, like tricky math or writing computer code. And the biggest one in this family is HUGE. It's got 671 billion parameters. Now you might be wondering, what are parameters? Let's imagine a robot brain is like a huge Lego set. Each Lego brick is a parameter, something the robot uses to learn and make decisions. The more bricks you have, the bigger and smarter the robot brain can be. So, with 671 billion bricks, this R1 model is one of the biggest and cleverest out there. But here's the cool part. DeepSeek didn't lock this brain up behind a big gate. They released it under something called an MIT license, which means anyone in the world can play with it, change it, or even build new things using it for free. DeepSeek didn't stop there. They also made smaller versions called R1 Distill models. Think of these as mini versions of the big brain, kind of like baby robots. They range in size from 1.5 billion bricks to 70 billion bricks. And some are so small they can run on a laptop. Yep, even your school computer could handle one of these. Now, let's talk about why this is such a big deal. For a long time, the smartest robot brains, like OpenAI's O1, were locked behind closed doors. They were amazing, but you couldn't really see how they worked or use them without paying a lot of money. DeepSeek's R1 changes that it's open, free, and performs just as well as some of the best robot brains on things like math and coding challenges. Oh, and there's a funny thing about this robot brain. When it's thinking, it actually writes down its thoughts. Imagine if you asked your teacher a question and they started mumbling, let me think. Okay, first I'll do this, then that, and now I've got the answer. That's exactly what this robot does. It shows its steps as it figures things out. Isn't that wild? Let's take a quick detour to talk about something called simulated reasoning, or SR. This is a fancy way of saying the robot tries to think like a human. Instead of jumping to an answer, it carefully works through the problem step by step, like you would when solving a tricky puzzle. That's why these SR robot brains are so good at things like math and science. They take their time to get it right. DeepSeek says their R1 brain is even better than OpenAI's O1 at solving tough problems like the AIME math test and programming challenges. But, just like with any school test, we need to double-check those results to make sure they're accurate. Now, there's one little catch. If you use this robot brain in China, it has some restrictions. It won't talk about topics like certain historical events or political ideas, because it has to follow the rules of the country it comes from. But if you use it on your own computer outside of China, those restrictions don't apply. One researcher even said these smaller robot brains could spread everywhere, letting anyone use super smart technology on their own computers, far away from big companies or governments controlling them. So what does this all mean? Well, it's like giving everyone in the world a superpower, the ability to use these incredible thinking machines to learn, create, and solve problems. And the best part? You don't need a big fancy computer to join in on the fun. The world of technology is growing every day, and you're never too young to start exploring it. Stay curious,